Recording.
Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar about acne. I'm so excited for this to be coming out to you because acne is something I've been struggling with since I was 12 years old. And I saw many doctors for it. And it wasn't until I put it all together with naturopathic medicine that I finally understood why it was happening to me. So here, we're gonna go through the types and causes, testing, and treatments for acne. And I've got Dr. MARYELLEN TEDESCHI and Dr. Molly SEARS. So acne, anyone can get it, but it is most common in teens and young adults. We see plenty of adult acne though, so it's not necessarily just in your teenage years. I even see women who are perimenopausal having acne symptoms with their hormones being off course. And then an estimated 80% of people between 11 and 30 have acne. So if you have acne, it's nothing to feel embarrassed about. I know it's on the face and skin, so it can make a lot of people feel self-conscious, but is actually very common and normal. And we like to think of it as your body, telling you to dig a little deeper and help get you healthy. That's how we like to think of acne.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So the first thing that we kind of go into when we're looking at an acne case is we want to identify the type of acne you have. So these are some of the more common types of acne. So comedones, those are your whiteheads and your blackheads. Papules are a little bit bigger, a little deeper. Papules don't have pus and pustules do have pus. And then there's nodules and cysts, and those are both deep, but the nodules tend to be non-pus filled and the cysts tend to be pus filled. So we're going to show a few pictures. So those are the blackheads and the whiteheads. That's your papules and your pustules. And then this is your nodules and cysts.
And the cause of acne can make a difference on what we're seeing. So that's why it's so important to identify the type, because if it's because of hormones, it's probably going to be more cystic, pustule. If it's like what you're eating, you can have the flatter types, and then certain nutrient and mineral deficiencies can also look like the blackheads and the whiteheads.
Yeah, and location on your face is also going to give us some clues as to what's causing it. So we're going to get into causes now. So we want to address blood sugar issues and or elevated glucose. So when our blood sugar is altered, we can see an increase in IGF-1, which is going to increase growth of a lot of things, but specifically when it is dealing with acne, it's going to increase that oil production. That's going to cause more clogged pores. We want to look at your inflammation in your body. So if there's any kind of increase in reactive oxygen species, that's kind of having the opposite effect of antioxidants. So that's going to contribute to more DNA damage, more aging, quicker aging. Were you going to add something?
Yeah, which is like pollution is a source of that reactive oxygen.
Yeah.
So if you exposure to smoking.
Yeah, definitely. And then elevated androgens. So these are, what we think of as our male hormones, although women have them. So, testosterone and DHEA. This is something that specifically comes up in patients that are dealing with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is PCOS for short. And then we also want to look at, diet and look at your fatty acid imbalances. So making sure that we're balancing out your omega-3s and omega-6s. And then gut health is a huge component of everything, but specifically with acne, we want to look at any kind of gut infections happening or food sensitivities and allergies. So one of the biggest causes that I see of acne is a food sensitivity or, celiac, so gluten sensitivity or gluten allergies. And then if there is an actual infection, things like parasites, candida overgrowth, and then any kind of dysbiosis can have effects on our skin, whether that's acne, eczema, odd rashes, all things like that. Anything else to add, guys?
I think you covered that beautifully.
Cool. I can share a little personal story about gut infections and acne. I started a pretty strong probiotic recently, a couple months ago, and I had this purging of acne all along my jaw for the first probably 3 weeks of starting that probiotic. And so that was a big sign for me that there was something in my gut that was dying off. And our skin's our biggest organ. It's a big source for our detox. And so I knew that my skin was trying to detox something. And something to keep in mind with that is, you know, it's going to pass. So a good rule of thumb is if you start a new supplement or a new detox, you know, implementation of some kind of thing that's going to increase your detoxification, and you start to see skin issues come up, if they are skin issues that are something that you've dealt with in the past, so I had previously experienced acne on my jaw, that was a good sign that my body was purging. If I would have gotten acne somewhere like my forehead or my back where I never really had experienced it before, that would be a sign that it was kind of a bad reaction to whatever I was taking. So that's kind of a good rule to play by.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's lots of cool testing that as naturopathic doctors we can offer to further assess what's happening beneath the surface and why you are getting the acne. So as Dr. Molly mentioned, our skin being our biggest organ, it is that sign, you know, looking in the mirror when we have something on our skin, it's a clue that we have something happening beneath the surface, some process that is causing and contributing to this reaction on your skin. So we all share that sentiment: test, don't guess. We like to assess and get that deeper look into what is happening in your body. So testing is very, very valuable for that. So this is a collection of some, you know, standard collection of some tests that we offer. There's obviously many more, and ladies, feel free to jump in if I've missed anything, but blood tests that I look at with acne: fasting insulin and your fasting glucose, or the insulin glucose challenge. So taking a look at your blood glucose regulation and the role that insulin plays in that. Your HbA1c is the measure of the past 3 months of blood sugar for you. So the average, your inflammatory markers, which are called HSCRP, or high sensitivity C-reactive protein, or ESR, erythrocyte sedimentation rate. So these can give us some insight into the level of inflammation that's happening in your body, and your inflammatory cytokines. So those molecules in your immune system that contribute to inflammation. And then, of course, as we've talked about before, we have many different testing options for hormones. But if we were going to do, you know, a standard serum blood test, we could look at your estradiol, so your estrogen, your progesterone, free testosterone, DHEA. We might also look at sex hormone binding globulin or other things. So really depending on the presentation. And one thing I forgot to add that Dr. Molly reminded me of, we can actually test your omega-3s and 6s through your blood too. So we can take a look at that balance between the omega-3s, which are typically anti-inflammatory, and the omega-6s, which are more pro-inflammatory, with the exception of a few. But we can make sure that that ratio is working in your favor and not further contributing to any inflammation in the body. And then those hormones, of course, themselves. So we've done a video on that Dutch test, so the steroid urine hormone analysis, or the comprehensive hormonal insight test that we offer through Rocky Mountain in Canada. We can look at your hormones through saliva. So feel free to check out our previous videos for going into detail about what we offer for a comprehensive hormonal analysis. And the benefit of getting them done through these mediums is that we're really taking a closer look at your metabolism of your androgens. So that testosterone, are you an alpha producer? Are you producing more alpha, DHT, right? So if you're creating more of that strong testosterone, it's likely that that's contributing to your acne. Now, other things that we can look at. So in terms of triggers of inflammation themselves, so we can look at IgG food sensitivity testing. So that is through the blood. And we can look at your immune system's reaction to up to 220 different foods to see. And this also gives us an indication of your gut health. Do you have leaky gut? Are you having a lot of reactions to these foods? So what's going on with your microbiome and the gut lining itself? So these tests are very valuable to see not only foods that are acting as triggers, but also a nice map, an overall look of how your digestive system is reacting to foods in general, and what the health of your microbiome is itself. as Dr. Shreya mentioned too, you know, looking at environmental toxins and even things like heavy metals or other elements, we can take a look at the element status in your body. So do you have a heavy metal burden? Are you lacking any essential nutrients? We can check these through the urine or the hair. And gut health. So Dr. Molly mentioned that importance of taking a survey of your microbiome. Are there any parasites, bacteria, candida, or yeast overgrowth? And comprehensive stool analysis is a great way to check in on that. So there are different tests like the GI map or the GI 360, which are essentially stool tests that tell us what's growing in your body. Do you have any parasites? Do you have any latent infections, like even viruses or fungi? And gives us a nice lay of the land so we can figure out what's causing that imbalance for you and how to get rid of it and optimize.
Yeah, it even shows us if you're appropriately digesting what you eat.
Yeah. Yes. Great. Yeah. And there are markers too for leaky gut, of course. So looking at that health of the digestive tract too. So very, very valuable testing that we can offer.
All right. So with acne, you've got other specialists if you want someone to, you know, treat the skin specifically or, you know, suppress the hormones if they think that's the cause. But with me, it's always going to be like, what is the cause and are we treating the cause? So I care more about your long-term health when it comes to acne. And the first thing and the most important thing is replenish nutrients. So when I was 12 years old and had acne, and eventually when I turned 20, saw a naturopathic doctor, I found out I was very deficient in vitamin D, very low in ferritin. I used to donate a lot of blood. And then my blood sugar regulation was off the charts. And so that was a great starting point for me in treating the cause of acne. Yeah, so we'll get into each of these more in the next couple slides, but those are the principles. Replenish nutrients, regulate blood sugar, restore the gut, and then rule your hormones. Because when you do the first three things, it's inevitable that you're going to rule your hormones. All right, replenish nutrients. So common nutrients that are important for skin health. And these are the same nutrients that go across your body. They also affect mood. So acne could just be a symptom here of a significant nutrient deficiency. Vitamin D will impact acne. And then 50 to 90% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D at any given time of year. And I'm sure it's even worse in Canada. Iron is a very common nutrient deficiency for women that will also present with acne. Nutritional anemia can aggravate the lesions of acne. Omega-3, like we talked about, this is typically very low. You have to eat almost 6 ounces of salmon a day to get to like optimal levels of omega-3. So it's quite common that people are low, and especially eating the standard American diet, it's quite common that you'll be low in omega-3. Then other nutrients that help with both healing the skin and dealing with acne are vitamin C, vitamin A, B vitamins, and zinc. They're all helpful at making sure the skin can heal over those past lesions, so you're not left with any long-term scarring. Regulate blood sugar. So this is easier than you would think, but it is a long-term change. So for a lot of people, it is making the swaps. So you want to be eating food that, you know, doesn't come processed as in a box or a package, but especially the protein and plant-based fat. And if you can start early in the day, starting breakfast with plant-based fat, it's going to make sure that your sugar is regulated throughout the day. So with things like fasting, I often see people doing fasting wrong, where they're skipping breakfast. That's the opposite of what we want, because you want to start your day with protein. Protein is used to make your hormones. It's used to help you think clearly. Protein is one of the first steps even for anxiety. And protein and plant-based fat will help you regulate blood sugar and thus the acne that you're having. So that's a starting point. And then there's always additional herbs and nutrients that will make a huge impact, like berberine, magnesium. Keeping stress and sleep managed will have a big role to play in acne. And then how do you restore the gut? So it's going to be person to person, and it's going to be based on what your bowel movements and stool actually look like, what treatments we choose for you. But Dr. MARYELLEN, she did talk about food sensitivities, and Dr. Molly Sears talked about friendly bacteria. And yeah, start taking a look at your poop and see that it's, you know, a nice S-shaped, well-formed bowel movement. If it's choppy in little pieces, or if it's loose or floating, all of that is, you know, indicative that you're not absorbing properly. There could be growth of organisms in your gut that are preventing you from absorbing your nutrients. And then ruling your hormones. So Dr. MARYELLEN talked about testosterone. It is possible to lower that high testosterone through the strategies I mentioned earlier, as well as loving your liver. Your liver metabolizes all your hormones. And so you do want to have a long-term strategy where you're reducing the load on the liver. So easy ways to do that is to start to clean up your environment, remove those plastics and those chemicals. They're all extra things that your liver has to metabolize. So anything you put on your skin, typically you should be able to eat it. That's how clean I want things on your skin to be, because when something goes on your skin, it goes right into your bloodstream. You don't get a chance to metabolize it as if you ate it. So it doesn't get to have that first pass metabolism. It goes right into your skin. So if it's something that's like a hormone that it's endocrine disrupting, it is going to throw off your hormones down the road because it's going into your bloodstream. Yeah, and then that diet with organic foods and avoiding pesticide exposure, that's also going to be very helpful to showing your liver love and reducing these hormone imbalance issues.
There's a really great website called ewg.org. It stands for Environmental Working Group. And on there, you can look up all your skincare products and see what kind of toxins are in them. And it can help you slowly make changes to better products.
They also just released their guide, their 2020 guide to the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. So when you're buying produce, the Dirty Dozen are fruits and vegetables that use the most pesticides to grow them. So ones that you should consider buying organic. And then the Clean 15 are on the flip side of that. They use the least amount of pesticides for them. So they're ones that you can buy conventionally. So definitely some valuable resources to check out.
Yeah. And by their definition, pesticides are endocrine disrupting. So they will disrupt your sex hormones. They do have studies showing that families that switch to eating organic, their urine pesticide exposure is less. So it does, your choices make a difference on the world, our planet, and your health. We're all just one ecosystem here. And then Molly Sears, Dr. Sears, she talked about the different types of lesions on your skin in the pictures. And so the types of lesions you have are going to make a difference in your skin routine. So I prefer having patients go see an esthetician for that. They are the experts at looking at your skin, getting rid of some of those deeper acne and giving you advice on what is best for your skin type. But in general, having clean ingredients. So you might use a toner like rose water or witch hazel. There's topical B vitamin named niacin and zinc is really effective for helping dry out those acne lesions and help your skin heal up very quickly. There's new research for blue light laser. It's a fun treatment. I like the way my skin looks when I try blue light laser, but in general, just having good lifestyle aspects for skin health, that's going to be, you know, just as good as something like blue light laser. So, you know, drinking enough water per day, having a good skincare routine, it's all going to help you have that more youthful looking skin. And then go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say wearing your SPF too. So keeping your skin protected out in the sun, that has a huge impact as well.
Yeah. And I know in Canada, you do something called facial acupuncture, and
yes,
I love that. So that's a holistic way to help with treating the acne lesions and just starting to drain your body of some of those toxins when you're working that way.
Yeah.
Calamine lotion's a nice hack for getting zinc on your skin. It's low cost. All right, yeah, so if you've got any questions about our presentation, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're all very easy to find online.
So that's me up in Canada. I'm practicing primarily with telemedicine right now, but that's my Instagram, phone number, email if you'd like to reach out to me and ask me any specific questions. As Dr. Shreya did mention, I see a lot of skin health in my practice, and I do love offering facial rejuvenation or cosmetic acupuncture as a nice adjunctive treatment while we're doing all of that great internal work too. So a nice way to give you some lymphatic drainage and get things moving and give your skin a nice plump look without all the puffiness or scarring. So something, if you're interested, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and you can find me at the EndoDoc on Instagram, and you can direct message me any of your questions about acne or women's health. We will use those questions and we'll make more resources for you.
And I'm Dr. Molly. I'm in Colorado and have a telemedicine-based practice. See a lot of women's health, see a lot of skin as a result of women's hormones, gut infections, etc. So we really want to get to that root cause and hopefully help your skin.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. We'll see you at our next